Welcome to Executive Protection Insights. I'm Liam. Every executive protection professional has heard the phrase, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Usually people think we're talking about an attack. We're not. We're talking about the moment when the plan stops being the plan. Because every advance, every route survey, every emergency action plan, every medical contingency, every radio check, every site assessment, they're all based on one assumption, that the environment will behave roughly the way you expect it to. Most of the time it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Today's story starts 72 hours before anyone hears the first gunshot, because that's where executive protection actually begins. Not at the venue, not at the motorcade, not when the principal arrives. It begins with the advance. 3 days before kickoff, the advance agent walked through the east service entrance of the stadium, carrying nothing more than a backpack, a radio, 2 mobile phones, and a notebook that had already been rewritten 4 times. The stadium was still empty. Construction crews were putting the final touches on sponsor hospitality areas. Television crews were testing cameras. Vendors were stocking concession stands. Cleaning staff were finishing sections that, in 48 hours, would be filled with nearly 70,000 spectators. Empty stadiums have a strange feeling. They almost don't seem capable of becoming dangerous. The silence makes you forget what they're built for. The advance agent checked in with the venue security director, a former police commander who had been living inside the stadium for almost 3 weeks. "You made good time," the security director said. "I wanted to see it before everyone else does." The director smiled. Smart. There was no ceremony, no formal presentation, just 2 professionals who understood that the next few hours would determine how smoothly the next 3 days would unfold. They started where every advance should start, the command post. Hidden behind a secure corridor beneath the West Grandstand sat the operational heart of the stadium. Banks of CCTV monitors covered every entrance, every concourse, every loading dock, every suite corridor, every parking lot. Rows of radios continuously scanned different channels: police, fire, EMS, private security, traffic management, facility maintenance. The room looked less like a security office and more like an air traffic control center. The advance agent stood quietly for a moment, not studying the monitors, studying the people. Good command posts are built on people long before they're built on technology. Who makes decisions? Who authorizes lockdowns? Who controls the CCTV operators? Who speaks directly to law enforcement? Who can move resources immediately? Those questions matter far more than the number of cameras hanging from the ceiling. The security director walked toward one of the large maps mounted on the wall. "This is what most people care about." He pointed toward the public entrances. "Screening." Then toward the VIP entrance. "Credential verification." Then toward the loading dock. "Media." The advance agent nodded politely, then asked a different question. "If we lose this entrance," he pointed toward the principal's planned arrival point, "what's your second choice?" The security director smiled again. "You've done this before." Because that was the real question. Executive protection doesn't plan around success. It plans around failure. The primary arrival point isn't interesting. The alternate is. They spent nearly 4 hours walking the property. Not quickly, not casually. Every movement had purpose. The principal's suite, emergency exits, private elevators, kitchen corridors, loading docks, medical treatment rooms, the stadium infirmary, the ambulance staging area, the secure vehicle compound. Every location was photographed, timed, measured, not because they expected to use all of them, because they didn't know which one they might need. One service corridor immediately caught the advance agent's attention. It connected the executive suites directly to the underground vehicle tunnel without passing through the public concourse. The corridor wasn't beautiful. Concrete walls, industrial lighting, utility pipes running overhead. It smelled faintly of fresh paint and diesel exhaust. Most guests would never even know it existed, which made it perfect. The advance agent stopped walking. "Who has access?" The security director checked his credential list. "Engineering, venue management, police supervisors," a pause, "and anyone we authorize." "Good." The advance agent looked down the length of the corridor. "If everything goes wrong," he pointed toward the tunnel, This is probably how we're leaving. The security director didn't answer. He simply nodded. Professionals rarely need long explanations. The next morning was dedicated entirely to transportation. The motorcade provider arrived with 3 SUVs. The advance team had already rejected 2 other companies. One for maintenance concerns. Another because drivers couldn't demonstrate defensive driving standards during evaluation. Vehicles are easy. Drivers are harder. You can inspect a vehicle in 20 minutes. Understanding a driver takes much longer. The lead driver had worked major sporting events before. That mattered. Driving a principal through normal city traffic and driving through 70,000 departing spectators are 2 completely different skills. The route reconnaissance started just after sunrise. Primary route first, then alternate, then contingency. Each route was driven twice. Once according to GPS, once according to instinct. Technology tells you distance, experience tells you behavior. At one intersection, the advance agent asked the convoy to stop. Construction crews had removed a concrete barrier since the previous survey. It looked insignificant. Most people wouldn't even notice it. The advance agent smiled. This changes everything. The driver looked confused. It just opened another lane. It opened another escape route. That's the difference. Most people see traffic. Protection professionals see options. By midday, the operational package had grown by another 20 pages. Updated ETAs, revised motorcade timings, police liaison contacts, emergency hospital routes, nearest level 1 trauma center, helicopter landing options, blood bank capabilities, even if they never use them. They needed to know, because once the operation starts, there is no time to look them up. Match day arrived beneath a cloudless sky, and by 7 o'clock that morning, the city already felt different. Supporters wearing jerseys from half a dozen countries filled cafes and hotel lobbies. Children carried flags larger than they were. Street vendors had set up temporary stands on every corner. The excitement was contagious. Even the protection team felt it. But excitement is deceptive. It lowers people's guard. It makes principles more spontaneous. It makes crowds less predictable. And it compresses decision-making. The lead agent finished the morning intelligence brief while the principal ate breakfast. Nothing remarkable. No credible threats. No demonstrations. No suspicious activity around the venue. Weather favorable. Traffic heavier than expected. Medical resources fully staffed. Law enforcement reporting normal operations. Exactly the kind of brief every team hopes to deliver. The principal looked up from his coffee. So, today should be easy. The lead agent smiled. I hope so. He meant it, because no protection professional ever hopes to prove how good they are. The best days are the boring ones. The principal finished breakfast and stood. You know, he adjusted his jacket. I have a feeling today is going to be memorable. The lead agent watched him walk toward the elevator. Somewhere below them, the opening vehicle was already rolling toward the hotel entrance. The advance agent was already at the stadium. The command post had been activated. Police units were taking their positions. The motorcycles assigned to the escort were checking radios. Traffic management was beginning lane closures. Every moving piece of the operation was falling into place. Everything looked exactly the way it should. No one, not the principal, not the fans filling the streets, not the television crews preparing for kickoff, and not even the experienced professionals coordinating the operation, had any reason to believe that before the final whistle, every one of those plans would be thrown aside. Because sometimes, the most dangerous day of an operation begins exactly like the safest one.